You are not merely anxious. You are the hyper-aware. Think about the crushing, relentless exhaustion that comes from housing a mind that simply refuses to power down. It is not restlessness, it is a profound form of cognitive fatigue. You replay past conversations in endless, frustrating, high-definition loops, dissecting every glance, every silence, and every inflection. You pre-analyze every potential outcome with paralyzing precision, and you live in a constant, exhaustive state of future-proofing, calculating every risk, every failure, and every contingency before the moment even arrives. You are told by well-meaning friends and simple self-help guides that this is a flaw, a weakness to be medicated or managed. You are told to just relax, but that advice is a cruel mockery, akin to asking a quantum computer to simply think less. But the psychological truth is far more complex and far more empowering. This exhaustive, high-velocity cognitive activity is the undeniable sign of a fiercely high-functioning intellect. You are suffering from an intelligence tax, the heavy, cruel, and often unseen price paid by a mind that is built for unparalleled depth and speed. Your mind operates not in linear time, but in simultaneous dimensions, experiencing the past, present, and 6 versions of the future all at once. The problem isn't that you think too much, the problem is that you are trying to house a Formula One engine in a standard, commuter chassis, and the resulting friction is what you call anxiety. Your engine is running at 15,000 RPM while the rest of the world is idling at 500. This disparity creates a neurological overheat. You are part of an exclusive group who understands the profound, isolating burden of this constant, internal noise. Have you ever felt utterly depleted and burned out by 10 a.m., not because you were physically working, but because your brain had already run 1,000 high-stakes scenarios, solved 50 philosophical problems, and cross-referenced every potential threat in your social life? That sense of isolation, of having a unique cognitive burden that no one else can truly comprehend, is the deepest marker of the hyper-aware identity. You are the strategist, the analyst, the person who instinctively sees the code beneath the surface of reality. You feel the deep weight of possibility and probability. Share your deepest thoughts about the exhaustion of this constant, unrelenting mental speed and the burden of seeing too much in the comments below. We begin by dissecting the 5 cognitive burdens that serve as the undeniable proof of your hyper-functioning intelligence, revealing why your flaws are actually highly specialized gifts. Burden 1: Predictive anxiety. Your brain is not merely guessing, it is a predictive supercomputer that runs risk assessment too efficiently. You don't feel generalized, unfocused fear, you feel a temporal self-awareness overload. Your prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and planning, is constantly over-calculating risk, seeing 5 future failures simultaneously, paralyzing the present action. This is a survival gift gone rogue. Instead of allowing you to quickly navigate one threat, it traps you in a chronologically complex analysis of every possible threat, ensuring that you live not in the present, but perpetually in the future's worst-case scenario. This exhaustively detailed prediction of negative outcomes consumes the mental resources needed for immediate function. Burden 2: Detail obsession. You are neurologically incapable of using the brain's simple filtering mechanism. You cannot ignore background noise, inconsistencies in logic, or trivial details that contradict the main narrative. The brain seeks absolute completeness, forcing you to focus on the one outlier detail that everyone else misses, the tiny inconsistency in a person's story, the subtle flicker of insincerity, the imperfection in the data set. This ensures the whole picture is never simple for you, leading to chronic sensory overload and deep intellectual exhaustion because your brain refuses to use shortcuts. You cannot shut off the surveillance camera of your own mind. Burden 3: Emotional amplification. Your sensory and emotional centers process all input, both positive and negative, too deeply and too quickly. Trivial slights, minor social friction, or small moments of kindness are experienced with the visceral, high-intensity processing reserved for major trauma. This rapid, deep processing requires constant emotional self-protection because your entire system is always running hot. The emotional center, amygdala, is constantly triggered, creating a feedback loop where minor stress is amplified into catastrophic emotional reality. Burden 4. The incomplete data panic. The hyper-aware mind is built for complexity and hates voids. It panics when data is unavailable or inconsistent. This forces the analytical engine to run endless, energy-sapping loops trying to fill in the gaps, the process that others simplify and dismiss as worrying. This is not an act of choice, it is the brain's desperate, high-speed attempt to stabilize the system by inventing a complete, if often catastrophic, narrative. The failure to find the missing piece is experienced as an existential threat. Burden 5. The need for cognitive self-defense. You are always anticipating being misunderstood or judged due to the profound gap between your complex internal world and the simple, linear world of external communication. This compels you to develop complex social masking, hyperarticulation, or preemptive defensiveness, all dedicated acts of cognitive self-defense, to protect your nuanced internal reality from the simple, surface-level judgments of others. If you recognize these 5 relentless cognitive burdens, not as weaknesses, but as the inevitable side effects of high processing speed, then you are ready to access the next level of psychological control. If you are ready to stop letting your complexity be mislabeled as anxiety and start using it as power, ensure you subscribe right now to join us in dissecting the next level of cognitive management. The moment you accept these 5 burdens, you unlock the core scientific secret behind your exhaustion. Your overthinking is simply the intelligence tax. The human brain, for the majority of the population, evolved to process information at a speed necessary for survival, but your brain processes it exponentially, geometrically faster. The exhaustion you feel is not a character flaw, it is the physical and mental wear and tear of running a high-speed processor that is constantly overclocked and chronically undercooled. The sheer velocity and volume of data input, analysis, and cross-referencing generates massive cognitive noise. This noise, this constant whirring of the analytical engine, is what the rest of the world calls anxiety. But for you, it is the sound of your intelligence working overtime. The mind is built for complexity, which is why it inherently resists simplicity and comfort. Your greatest suffering is the cruel paradox that your highest asset, your speed of thought, is the precise source of your deepest instability. You must learn to functionally decouple speed from stability. This realization leads us directly to the cruel paradox. Your unparalleled ability to function in crisis is the fundamental reason you struggle with daily peace. For example, your mind is capable of seeing all 6 angles of a complex decision, analyzing the ethical, financial, and relational pros and cons of each path with absolute precision. This complexity, which makes you a brilliant strategist, consultant, or analyst, completely paralyzes your daily decision-making. You struggle to order coffee, not due to indecision, but because your mind is calculating the opportunity cost of that choice versus all others. The high function leads to low daily stability. This profound paradox, where your high intelligence creates your deepest isolation and limits your essential human function, is the hidden flaw that limits your ultimate success. The exhaustion comes from keeping the high-speed data inside the system. Your analytical engine runs silently, but its heat and friction are destroying your stability. The first decisive intervention is the data dumping technique. Since the brain is processing too fast to be reasoned with internally, You must force the fast data flow into a slow, external medium. This means engaging in physical practices that force the complex internal narrative into a simple, sequential format. This could be writing down every single catastrophic scenario in a journal, not analyzing it, just dumping the raw data. This could be speaking the entire, complex thought process out loud to a neutral, non-judgmental third party, forcing the intangible thought into concrete, linear sound. This intentional externalizing of the thinking moves the analysis from the frantic internal loop to a stable, external archive. This simple, conscious act of physical transcription immediately reduces the cognitive burden and is the most effective tool for gaining immediate distance from the paralyzing speed of your own intelligence. Since your intelligence moves too fast, you must slow down the external systems you rely on. The second intervention is the stability anchor. This is achieved by intentionally building earned secure attachment to predictable, low-stakes routines that your fast brain cannot possibly find complex enough to analyze. The goal is not intellectual engagement, the goal is stability. This means finding one ritual in your day, the morning coffee, the evening walk, the cleanup routine, and executing it with absolute, unwavering consistency. The analytical brain will initially resist, viewing the task as mundane. But when the environment provides an undeniable, predictable anchor of safety and consistency, your emotional system begins to stabilize. This frees up crucial cognitive resources previously dedicated to anticipating and managing chaos. This deliberate building of behavioral stability allows the hyper-aware mind to finally rest, knowing that the environment is reliable and safe, and it is a powerful form of emotional self-protection. The final intervention is the ultimate act of empowerment, turning your perceived flaw into your greatest strength. This is reframing anxiety as predictive data. You must cultivate self-concordant motivation by viewing every surge of anxiety not as a signal of weakness or impending doom, but as the supercomputer flagging essential, mission-critical data. When the anxiety hits, you pause and ask, what specific, external problem is this predictive intelligence flagging right now? Is it flagging a breach of an ethical boundary? Is it predicting a necessary future action? By consciously relabeling the anxious feeling as a data packet that requires analysis and action, you eliminate the emotional shame attached to the feeling. You are no longer the victim of your brain's noise. You are the conscious analyst of your intelligence's output. This shift, driven by your deepest goal of authentic performance, is the key to mastering the hyper-aware mindset. We conclude with this final, non-negotiable truth: you are not overthinking. You are processing reality at a higher resolution than most people, and the exhaustion you feel is the cruel price of high intelligence. But by mastering the data dumping technique, anchoring your external world with earned secure attachment, and reframing anxiety as necessary data through self-concordant motivation, you reclaim your stability. You stop letting your speed paralyze you and start using it for intentional growth. If you are ready to permanently stop letting your genius be mislabeled as anxiety and solidify your commitment to owning your complexity, ensure you subscribe right now to join the community of the hyper-aware. And finally, leave a comment below. What is the one major insight about your own intelligence you discovered today? Share your discovery and reclaim your genius.